I'm Marilyn Palmer from Right at Home Realty, and I welcome you to a Seniors Moment. Today's topic of conversation is how to afford your lifestyle when you're 65 and older, or even when you're 50. And today I'd like to welcome Zachary Rain of Freedom55 Financial. Hi, Zachary. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure, Marilyn. Thank you for having me.
Okay, because of COVID-19 being such a worry right now, I'm going to go with my last question first.
Okay.
How do I invest to make sure I have a safety net if I am faced at 50 with a job loss because of this pandemic?
That's a great question. I've been getting that a lot lately. Thankfully, my clients, they're prepared. So what you're asking about is called an emergency fund. Basically, it's if God forbid something happens, should an emergency happen like COVID or you lose your job just in any type of situation, car breaks down, whatever it is, do I have access to money and do I have access to liquid money? So this is emergency fund. You invested in a savings account, Simply, Tangerine, even TD, a basic savings account. There are a couple of insurance companies that offer great high interest rates for their savings accounts, such as Manulife or Industrial Alliance. You're going to want to invest in something like that. You're going to look for something around 3 to 6 months your income. A lot of people say 3 to 6 months expenses. It's one of those things where you go back and forth. I'd say 3 to 6 months expenses minimum. I say income because it's always okay to have more money than less. Better to have and not need than need and not have. That's how I see things.
Okay. Another thing is I'm 50 years old and I don't have financial freedom. How do I start making sure I have financial freedom other than maybe selling my home and then investing the profit from my home? Any other suggestions?
Well, that's a great question. The first thing I would say is you need to speak with someone like me because there's a lot of ways for you to find money. Let's just put it that way. 50 years old is when a lot of people start to decrease their monthly expenses. And I say this because at age 50, and this is the average person, it's not unique, it's not a cookie cutter solution or anything like that, but at age 50, a lot of people or their children are finally entering their 20s. And whether you have a child or not, if you don't have a child, you're just making more money, you should have less expenses. If you do have a child, in the age of 20 and above, they're going to university. Hopefully you have fully paid RESPs for them. And they're starting to be able to kind of carry their own weight per se. So what you should do is you should speak to me. We could find income, like you said, in your house. Who knows, maybe in retirement, and it's a solution for a lot of people these days. I'll tell you why in a second, but maybe you can draw equity out of your house, maybe to even sell it. The rule is in Canada, your primary residence, that's, it's the house that you designate as the house that you live in. It grows tax-free and it pays out tax-free. So it's a great solution. At age 65, do you really need a 3,000 square foot house for 2 people? Maybe not. Maybe you do. Maybe it's a preference of life, but most people don't. So they'll take the proceeds of the sale, they'll downsize to something smaller and buy that, and they'll use the difference to fund their retirement. It's just one solution to make money, or to have money at least accessible, but there's a lot of ways to do it. I would say come speak with someone like me, get a budget arranged and find out what kind of lifestyle you want in retirement, what that's going to cost you in retirement, and how much money you need to save year after year in order to get there over the next however many years.
Terrific. I want to sell my house, I want to downsize, and I want to start what I term our career redefinement. I want to start doing something that I love to do instead of something that I have to do. How do I make sure, again, there's a safety net there, but also that I can fund what I want to do? And I'm not talking about, becoming a rock star. I'm just talking about maybe starting an online business. How do I make sure that the funds are there?
Well, that's a great question. So what I like to do with my clients, and using advanced calculators and financial equations, yada, 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 that's the boring stuff. And that's my job. But through that process, we can determine how much money you need, because everything in life has a monetary value. Nothing is free in life, right? So if you want to start a business, you want to start an online business and sell homemade jewelry. I know I have a couple of clients, that's what they do. They decided, forget about it. I've worked my 9 to 5. I have a good amount of money saved up. Will this last? And that's the question. How long can they live this lifestyle? So what I like to recommend to people is you need to make sure that your options are open. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you want to redefine your career, always a great idea if you can, make sure you have the emergency fund. Make sure that you have enough money, and when I say enough, I mean enough money to fund the minimum lifestyle you would like in perpetuity. And what that means is, it means you're getting the bare necessities and maybe a little bit extra after that. Why do I say that? Because you never know how an online business can go. You never know how a career redefinement can go. You could make millions, you could make nothing. It's just, it's a risk of life. And what you want to do is make sure that if you have the worst end of things, that you're taken care of. If you make millions, I'm happy for you. Let's see what we can do with it. But if you don't, I want to make sure that you're taken care of. You can afford to go to the grocery store. You can afford to fill up your car. You don't need to worry about paying property taxes. And it's just some of those things. And so what we do is, if you need $50,000 every year, in pre-tax income to fund your life for the next 30 to 40 years, if you want to redefine your career, then we need to make sure that through the calculations and the formulae that you have enough money to afford that right now.
Perfect. Future case scenario. What do you think would be the best investment for me when I sell my house and I move to a smaller condo or a smaller house? What do I do to invest in that money? Not what do I do, but where would the best investment be? Would it be stocks? Would it be mutual funds? I think it's real estate because that hasn't gone down. But in your honest opinion, is it based on what the person's type of personality is, like risk taking, more conservative? What is your thought?
100%. So it's different for every person. There are a few options. And when I say options, I mean, it's like you said with the conservative and the aggressive type of thinking. It's how do you want your money and your source of income to come in? And I say this because with any type of investment, you need to make sure you have the fixed income portion. And that's even for the most aggressive people. That's the reliable, that if, God forbid something happens, God forbid COVID happens, I need to make sure that I still have money. I can't afford to risk everything. So what we do with something like that is we have something called annuities. And insurance companies, they sell annuities. It's not an insurance policy in its traditional form, but what it offers you is income guaranteed on a regular basis. Think of it similar to a pension. All right. So you can have it every month, money will roll in. You pay a lump sum at the beginning. That's what it's worth. Let's say you have $500,000, you put $500,000 into this, and that gets you, and it's depending on your age and your health and yada, yada, yada. But it'll get you $4,000 a month every month for the next 35 years. Okay, you need to have that guaranteed portion. And insurance companies have become really good with annuities. And I think that it's an important fixed income proponent of a retirement plan. Now, another type of investment that provides you fixed income is real estate. I'm a big fan of real estate investment specifically. Why? Because real estate grows tax deferred, unless it's your primary residence, in which it grows tax free. Now, I'm a big tax planner. That's just a part of what I do. It's a way to guarantee yourself some type of savings / income. And so having a real estate investment grow tax deferred is a great solution. You can draw equity out of it and you have rental income. But it is more risky than, for instance, an annuity. Why? Because you need to guarantee yourself a tenant. Usually there's tenants, people can be found, but there could be time in between that you need money that there's no tenant. And who knows, that time may come with a market downturn. You can never predict these things. If I had a glass ball, I'd be happy to share my wisdom with you.
So would I.
Yeah, but it's not always there. Equities, for sure. It's a great way to get investment income, right? Investment income is fantastic because you can constantly grow it, and you can grow income on top of your investment income. That's called compounding growth. And you can always invest it in something like a segregated fund, which is a little bit more safe. I'm not going to get into seg funds because they're very complicated, but that's my job again. And it's something that, like I said, it has guarantees. So as you get older and you get into that next chapter of your life, you want guarantees.
Mm-hmm. You do. Is there anything else that you could perhaps advise somebody on that's listening to this interview? Any other things? You work with real estate investors, do you not? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So I can speak about real estate investment if you'd like. Um, no.
Okay, there's investors and then there's investors. There's an investor that, I invest in one condo because I have some money and I want to buy a condo and then rent it out. Okay, that's investment. But there's also the big gun investors where they will buy blocks in a condo complex and they always buy pre-sale.
Mm-hmm.
I say that right? Before it breaks ground.
Mm-hmm.
The builder breaks ground, they will invest in this and then they will eventually rent them out when they've got, and then they will start selling them off in block. I mean, so when I talk real estate investors, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the big investment companies. Do you deal with those people?
Yeah, why not? I welcome everybody.
Okay.
There's the big, sorry?
No, go ahead. Well, what I was going to say is there a difference between dealing with a small investor like myself as compared to the big investment, like 7 investors coming in with this? Is it different for for that level?
Of course. Well, with anything, there's scale. So with one investor and a smaller property, it's, let's just say, simpler. That's really the end of it. Means and odds of it. There's less legal agreements. There's less liability. And when liability, I mean when you have 6 people putting up income, collateral, capital, whatever it is, uh, there's just more ways for someone to leave out something. And when I say that, I mean, you never know whether a person's going to get their capital on time. You never know if they have enough should something go wrong. You never know that, maybe they're leveraged way too highly, right? It's one of those things. And then with that comes underwriting. If you want to do it properly, you want to make sure that your partners through financial underwriting can afford the risk that they're about to take with a pre-construction unit or just any type of unit. So you have those things. You need buy out and sell agreements, which basically just means if something happens to one of my investors, then where does their share go? Does it stay within a partnership? Does it stay within a corporation? Is it held individually? Do I need to now deal with that person's family or their estate? And things can get very complicated. When it's one person, things are just much simpler. Do I deal with both? Happily. I'd be happy to deal. I'm just here to help people. That's
Okay,
all I
good.
want to do.
Good, because I have a few people that are looking to invest, quite frankly. So I will forward them to you. All right. We've run out of time. Sorry. So what I'm going to ask is if you can give out your contact information, please.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So again, my name is Zachary Rain. I work for Freedom55 Financial, otherwise known as Canada Life, the insurance company. My phone number is 647-403-7016. If you'd like to reach out, feel free to text me or call me. My email is zachary.rain@freedom55financial.com.
Okay. You know what we forgot? Quickly.
What?
How many years have you been in business?
I've been in business for over a year now.
Mhm.
I have a team that I work with. So I have insurance specialists, tax specialists, wealth specialists, CFPs, CIMs, the whole alphabet soup.
But you came
Collective,
from a background of financial
yes.
advice
So
people, didn't you?
yes, yeah. So I've been in the whole finance area, I'd say about 6.5 years. This is my own business for a year and a half with my team. Um, I worked at IG Wealth Management for a little bit. I moved from there because they have restrictions on the type of clientele you can have. I don't want that. I'm here to help everybody. That's just the type of person I am, big or small. I'm here to help you. So I moved to Freedom 55 and I opened up my own practice.
Zachary, thank you so very much for your time today. And I'm Marilyn Palmer, and I hope you've enjoyed this session of A Senior's Moment. Thanks again. Bye, Zachary.
Bye-bye.